Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Mr. JP, the game is Out of Ore, and doing this video because this mine's moving on stage-wise a little bit. As you can see, things have spread out since my last video. Pretty much just been pounding away with the loader and the dumper truck there and cleaning out that coal seam, which has done the job on my cache. And excuse me a minute, just move the mouse away from where it was. Thanks everybody for joining me, by the way, and subscribing and for commenting and getting involved. This video is kind of being made because of a suggestion by a viewer. You know who you are. Thank you very much. Give me some inspiration. I like it. So first thing I've done is modify my machinery a little, so now things are a bit crazier over here. I've got everything's the same on the wash plant side, but up the top here we've got the trommel, which is separating the good from the bad. The bad it being coal and rock, I think. Which goes through the crusher, through the fractioner and back round that way, and out into the hoppers as well. This is a play for later on when I start to haul out more stonework, because at that point it will bypass anything that is coming out, like the lithium and the platinum and that kind of thing. So yeah, the reason for this video is excavators, and I'm at that point here where digging this way, starting to get a little long with the dumper. Over there is a lithium seam which I'd quite like to dig out, and there's something else a little beyond it as well that I'd like to get to. So I'm going to extend this hopper into this hillside using an excavator. So first thing to do is to bring in an excavator, and I've got a couple in my inventory at the moment, but I'm quickly going to touch on purchasing them as well, because there's one type that I haven't got that I need to learn to use because I haven't even used it. So this is the shop, accessed by default by pressing P, and these tabs show all your machines, and the excavators are here. Now there's several different types, all different sizes, with buckets attached, and then you've got the A models, which are attachment models. And so I'm not going to play with attachments yet because I'm going to be honest, I need to learn how to use an excavator again. But the model that I don't have is the biggest front scoop here. As you can see, the bucket is orientated the other way round on a front scoop. So I'm just going to grab that. And I've already got an S800 in my inventory, 8000 sorry, in my inventory. And as you can see, the bucket is orientated the other way round on these beasts, and they're a fairly large unit. So this is kind of where I'm going to be want to operate. So to deploy a vehicle, go to the map, find your vehicle down here in the garage. I don't want the front shovel, I want the excavator model. Just spawn it there. Okay. Way. Zoom out a little on that. Right. How did I set these up? Yeah, okay. Remembered which keys are what straight away, that's kind of handy. I have reset the keys from the defaults because I just find holding shift all the time to be a little awkward. Ooh, this thing is slow. Let's line it up properly to start with. So what I want is a nice even ditch, essentially, where alongside this hopper to start with. So let's just see what the reach is like. Okay, so obviously I'm going to need some access, so that's going to involve demolishing some of this hopper. And some of the flooring alongside it, but some of this will go back in. Depends how far I end up going along. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're into uncharted territory, okay. Righty-ho. And then it's just a matter of getting down with the controls and remembering what you're doing. I'm going for it. So there's several camera options here. I'm going to try that one. Okay. Ooh, I'm not convinced by this at all. Just so everybody knows, that is horrible. Okay, I'm not keen on that one. We'll go back to the free follow cam and just live with the fact that I've got to do everything zoomed out. Ooh, yeah. Sorry about that one, guys. Jeez, that was something new. Dig in and see what I get with that scrape and just go with it. Yeah, so I'm not convinced by excavators in this game. Don't get me wrong though, because I do love them. I think they're great, but the volume that you can actually sort of dig with them compared to the amount of time you spend doing it is pretty low. And I've found that ever since the game's beginning that the most efficient way of shifting ground quickly is the loader. Must erase that tile on that corner. I am really bad with an excavator, it would appear. Maybe it's just where I'm hitting that tile. The funny thing is here that I think I have more fun with the 530 model, the smaller one, which is kind of interesting. I'm just going to see whether it is that tile that's messing me up. And it might be that there's components that I have built that have got buried that are now hidden away under here as well, so yeah. Find out whether I find one of those in a minute. That's a more convincing bucket load anyway. Since that was a load of something that looked fairly valuable. Probably coal, but there we can tell, right? Since the main aim here is actually excavation rather than resource recovery, I'm not too worried about amounts in buckets or cycles per second or or per minute or rather, or anything like that. I'm just worried about getting some of this material out here. A little bit further. Yeah. So it's getting the job done, admittedly. So I've always had this thought that these machines are more for construction and manipulating the landscape than they are as a sort of resource hauler, shall we say. Well, I can see how you could fill a dumper truck quite quickly with it. Bad Mr. JP on the controls. I'm sure with practice I'll probably get better with it. Same as anything. Maybe get the joysticks rigged up, because that's a big part of what people are saying about. I know there was a lot of talk about the ISO layout and a few other things that I don't have a clue about, because the only thing I've really used is a mini digger when it comes to excavators. And I got to be honest, that was kind of intuitive. So it's just two sticks, they operate different bits, and off you go. It's a bit like a forklift truck, no problem. Bigger stuff is a different game, I reckon. It appears to be a different game in Out of War, anyway. Whoa, that one filled a bit quicker. Okay. And we're falling off, so let's just back that up a little. Maybe turn its side on. It's a unit though. I do like it. Like, don't get me wrong, the actual digging and everything. It's I've met much bigger games that have got a worse digging experience. I've met some that are smoother, but all in all, I am achieving my goal. So. However, it does get moved around easy. Stuff comes out of the bucket like a shotgun as well, which is entertaining. Other people would get quite annoyed with that. I find it funny. I also find it quite amusing sometimes the way that stuff comes out the back end of the dump trucks. Okay. Yeah, the parking brake warning does work. Okay. Move this way. Dig out a bit more of that. Since we're coming that way, may as well quickly load it up. May as well have some production on the go whilst we're at it. since this is pay dirt, I'm being a lot less cautious than how I dig out coal or lithium. Believe me, I'm just throwing that loader in about a bucket's depth and just letting it roll in until it comes to a natural halt, which is normally in bulking mode when your bucket's full. Forcing it just doesn't get any more in the bucket. Seems to just delete it, I think. I'm not sure. Not sure how the game's software actually handles that one. It doesn't take long to fill up a dumper, and it seems to last a significant time in the processing works, especially when it's got some stone mixed in. But all in all, you can ping around a mining site with a few hoppers scattered around everywhere. Using the merge blocks and things, you can build quite a nice integrated system, so you can use an excavator at one point and a loader at the other and keep everything sort of ticking over. For those who have a sort of the efficiency bug on their mind, don't like seeing idle machinery, you know, it's there for you. The challenge of keeping machines going is now there in the fact that the machinery processes stuff a lot faster, so keeping up with it's a bit more of a challenge. Bring this one back into here. This is going to go everywhere. No, done alright. Not spilling over into my new hole. That's the main thing. No point digging a hole just to fill it up. Back that in facing there, I reckon. Right. Yeah, that's when the bucket gets full, catches up and just starts moving the vehicle around. Whoa, you have to park really close with the dumpers as well, by the looks of that. But yeah, definitely not the best at sort of digging below its own height, this one. So, that was a bit of operator error really there, but yeah. Okay, so we've come along 1, 2, 3, 4, about 8. So yeah, we'll give that a go for extension work. Okay. So those two don't mix. Interesting. So you use T and R by default to move left and right, and the demolition's actually press 6 and then T as a quick way to remember it. I'm just going to knock this hopper out here, put in a couple of conveyors, and I could probably have left the hoppers there, but since I'm going a little bit further along, and I could continue this trench all the way to the wall, but I don't really want it that close. I want it a bit further across than this, but I'll extend it later. Tortured you guys enough with my use of the excavator in public. Ugh, I am terrible with it. Okay. Didn't quite clear out the end there. This is what manual mining is for. Cleaning out the ends of hoppers. There we go. That looks a bit better. It's always a good idea to make sure they're nice and clear. I'm stuck. Right then. Put some floor in, and the construction thing can be a little bit dodgy, but the edge you look at is pretty much the edge it builds on, and you can just walk along laying out double layers like that quite quickly and easily. To there, and then 1, 2, 3. Knowing your numbers is good. If you know you've laid down a 4-block long piece of conveyor, then out of those floor blocks. Okay, we'll use these ones instead. Right, this is the new texture of concrete floor block, by the way, and I think one mode of these is paintable, but the steelwork stuff definitely is. I seem to remember, so that's all to the good. And then concrete wall does go down on the bottom. Excellent. Fit those like that. Grab these. And yeah, you just click to place, by the way. It's all pretty simple. To rotate things like I'm doing at the moment, hold down the right mouse button and just move it left and right. And in the settings, when you're setting up things with the mouse button, like if you're moving left and right when setting different controls, it takes a good throw left and right. It's pretty insensitive. You've got to really mean it. I guess would be the way of looking at it. Yeah, I'm just going to build that one across there because I want something to start this descent of wall panels on. Come on, there we go. That's what I mean about it being a bit finicky and sensitive sometimes. And you can build into dirt, by the way, so likewise wall panels, just get it to the edge, hold down the right mouse, move it left or right to rotate them, and you can very quickly rebuild hoppers like this. It's not too bad now, the construction system. It used to be a bit of a bugbear, but once you got used to it, and it did take some learning, I admit, it was alright. This one is a lot nicer to use, in my personal opinion. I am going to take the slopes out of this hopper because they stick through and make things a bit uneven on driving vehicles, and they take seconds to put back in, so that's kind of handy. The different textures marking where the old hopper was, so if I want to reinstate it, I know where it goes, which is kind of cool. Okay, that has got to go. I could manually move it, but I'm just going to edit some of that dirt away. Right, check that for nasty edges. It's not too bad, so we can live with it. This vehicle is going back to the garage. My next experiment will be with the 530, and I will also be doing some attachment work, which is probably going to actually involve me learning how to use that, since I have, as you can tell by the speed things are happening there, the excavators are really something that I have not used much of at all. Oh, Mr. JP, what are you thinking? See, because of the way there's a little bit of scatter from both the loader and the dumper, I always like to put some wings. As my sister would say, hungry boards, which is when they're on the side of a wheelbarrow, to make it bigger. Well, that's what these are. Just a couple of wings, catch anything that's pinging around if you're not quite straight when you go on to the hopper there. Because like the angle that the bed of the truck is at, sometimes when they fire out, they can fire out as far as over here. So, as I say, I even go as far sometimes as to put a... what's going on there? Okay. Put a wall around the back end of the hopper there, because sometimes it really is quite messy. One thing you can do is overloading. As you can see there, it really does scatter out quite a long way sometimes when you tip. But you can overload these dumpers in a big way. And I think to finish this half-hour video, so maybe I'll do that. Little bit of vehicle-on-vehicle action there. Right. Firstly, switching from bulking mode is this button in the corner here, so if I turn it off, we're going to end up with balls everywhere. This may end the game with a crash, I don't know, but we'll see how it goes. So, loader's still in bulking, because it's not involved in this little bit of chaos. And generate some balls. Quite a lot of balls. And I think you can get more into a loader using bulking. More into the dumper using bulking and the loader. Though, in my experiments, the loader was pretty even on it, so... see how it all works out. Bit of cut in there. And this is me just playing with the game, because I've seen some photos on the NMC Discord, which I'm thinking of streaming in, by the way, if anyone's interested. I've seen a lot of balls on people's machines, and my machine really doesn't handle it so well. So unless they've optimised the game, this is going to be an interesting experiment. That won't last very long, by the way. Take that last little corner out. There we go. So yeah, the main aim of this is obviously to load up the bed of the dumper with the balls. Switch to the dumper, lock the bed using V. That's the load locked. Go to the inventory, click bulk dirt. So that was what, 3 bucketfuls in the back there? And doing this really I don't consider worth it for everyday mining, but if you're running rich stuff a long way, then having a slight downhill, loading up the bed with lots and lots of balls and then doing what I'm about to do, which is tip into the bed, and because it's got bulking mode on, assuming I haven't overdone it, those should start going in. So what have we got on the... yeah, 19%. It has absorbed them all. They haven't disappeared or got stuck to the top of the load. The dumper now has the ability for 7 or 8 bucketfuls, maybe 10, depending on how much you push it. So yeah, the dumper can contain 10 bucketfuls of stuff this way, which in pay dirt terms really doesn't mean much. But if it's all rich stuff coming out of your plant, and you do this, you can get double prizes on your load for the haul run. And that could, from a distant mine, increase efficiency very, very much until we get AIs that can drive routes programmed like in some of the automatic mines that are starting to appear in places like Australia. There's a big mine out there owned by a company that's been a bit controversial recently, named Rio Tin. Something to do with blowing up Aboriginal caves, which is a bit low, in my personal opinion. These things are heritage after all, and they're everybody's heritage, not just the people's concerned. So yeah, but they're using automatic railways and automatic trucks for long hauling. So it's quite fascinating, really, to see what people are doing when it comes to just getting stuff out of the ground. You know, like mining. Yeah, you just dig. Except now we've got robots doing it, and driving trains and all sorts, because the trains aren't carrying people. So it's there's a lot less people to complain about the fact that the trains don't have drivers. Probably the only complainants are the drivers themselves, who are now out of a job. But if they're sitting in an air-conditioned office watching the cameras, I suppose they'll be quite happy. It is Australia, and it is pretty dusty. It's an iron ore mine. So yeah, what have I got on here now? 77. One more bucketful needed. Go to the top there and make a bit of new cut. I don't know whether it gets richer as you get further down into the pay dirt, or whether it's just all surface pay dirt, or whether it's been bent over the terrain of the landscape, so in some places it's thicker and thinner. I'm not entirely sure how that's arranged. But yeah, so we now have a doubled up dumper. Back it up to the new nearer hopper. And I've moved that nearer just because the next bit I'm going to use the loader. I may move it in again. So when you get here, make sure you're lined up properly. Because you want to be square to this hopper. Park, press V, and slowly start to tip, because everything's going to go at once. And that should keep my machinery processing for a little while. You can see the difference in the size of the balls between the ones that are dug by the loader and the ones that are dumped by the dumper. So yeah. But I'm surprised there was no stuttering or machine chaos, so yeah, accept that. Might have to have a bit more out of that at some point in the near future. Just a bit more out this corner for parking up and digging over here. So yeah, we may go extension hoppers. Let's see how that gets on. So yeah, that all works kind of nicely. Touch on the rescue thing again. The rescue me location by default in the game is right by this hopper, which is where all the pay dirt's coming out. That was kind of handy time. So yeah, starting to get there on the profit now. Sold over $1 million in dirt, which is a significant amount of pay dirt mined, because I haven't really done that much surface clearing. And I'm going to sit here and watch the production come through quietly to myself. And thank you all for joining me. Thanks to all the subscribers, all the viewers, everyone who's getting involved, making suggestions, giving me ideas. Attachments on machines will be next, I promise. I just decided to limit this one to a half hour or so. So yeah, I'm also going to get a building in here. Start getting decorative maybe. Who knows? Me thinking about decorative? I must be ill. Okay guys, thank you very much. Look after yourselves and stay safe out there. I'm Mr. JP, the game was out of ore, and goodbye for now.